we're moving out. And we're moving to Paris. But that requires a lot of packing, shipping, and mess at the moment. And here is an oil painting I did for my beautiful girlfriend for her birthday, which luckily is dry. And I need to pack it, ship it, roll it all the way to Paris. So I thought, why not actually show you how to roll a painting? First thing is you actually want a fairly decent, high quality canvas. Otherwise, if it's a bit shit, it's gonna be a bit shit. This one is rather large, unfortunately, but I have a pretty good roll. Unfortunately, the roll is a little bit small. It's about that big. But it should be fine. One can only hope. Anyway, first step is to make sure that the floor is clean. This is clean, and then you just lay it flat down once you've put some acid-free paper on the floor. Thankfully, at the moment, we've got a lot of different papers. This one is acid-free, which is lovely, which is what you want for a proper painting. We don't have a huge just one roll of it, so I've got to make like 2 tears, which is fine. There are proper ways to get the actual staples out of the canvas, but I don't have any of those tools on me at the moment, as unfortunately most of them have been packed up. So all I'm using is a screwdriver. I'm going to gently ply out all of the staples, and then we just lay it down. Pretty simple, really. Now, the important thing to note about when you're doing this is to try and not to actually damage the canvas itself. So as we pull each of the staples out of the canvas, we want to make sure we're not actually creating holes or trying to dig into the canvas too much. I also don't have pliers, so I'm just using scissors to grab hold of the staple and just pull it out, which is fine, honestly. When you do it, you'll notice that some of the staples are a lot harder to get out than others, but honestly, it's not that big of an issue. You just need to make sure that you're not trying to force the screwdriver a little bit too harsh. Another good one, if you don't have a screwdriver on hand, is to use sunglass adjustments, which are pretty much the same thing. It's just a slightly smaller screwdriver head, basically. As you can tell, once the first one actually sort of comes out, it's pretty easy to just pull. Plenty and plenty and plenty of staples to pull out. I'll see you in a few minutes with it. Okay, so we've taken out all the staples, and now what do? Now we just take all of the edges off of the sides, and then we literally just lift out the actual canvas frame itself. Pretty easy, pretty simple. This shouldn't easily come apart, and more than likely this gets thrown away. You can't really transport that itself. If it came apart, fine, some of them do, many of them don't. It's actually easier, and this is why you'd want to do this in the first place, is to actually sell a painting. You're going to paint it. You can paint it unstretched, but I paint all of mine pre-stretched, and then when you sell it, you have to ship it maybe somewhere, or and you pay so much more to send it while stretched. So you might as well unstretch it, put it in a tube, and send it for a $5. It's not the biggest deal in the world. And then once it arrives to the person that buys it, just get them to go and get it stretched at a framer's or a painter's or something like that. It's not usually that expensive. I think maybe it goes between 15 to 30 quid, depending where you are, and just include that in your sort of sale price, and that should be fine. But as long as you've unstretched it properly, you're going to be absolutely fine. Oh, it does kind of come apart. I'm gonna have to mess around with that a little bit and see if I can get this to, oh, it does. Oh, we're gonna have fun with that. Oh. Okay, I kind of made a teensy bit of a mess of the stretcher itself, which is not the end of the world. I can fix that. And then hopefully I can actually package that and send it, which saves me the hassle of having to get it framed in the middle of nowhere. Because this painting itself, which once it's already been unstretched, you shouldn't pick it up probably like this, but I'm going to. The actual painting, so this is actually going to live in her parents' house, which is in the middle of Switzerland, in the middle of nowhere. And then the two of us are moving to Paris in the middle of Central, and it's a big painting to have in a small apartment. So this is going to live in her house. Yeah, took me a little while, all oil paint, but yeah. Okay, once that's done, we're going to properly relay it down. And there's a lot of different ways of doing this. I see a lot of different people put another sheet of paper on. The only reason you'd put another sheet of paper on is if you're transporting, in my case anyway, is actually transporting like smaller paintings. I see a lot of people put a small painting here and a small painting there. Anyway, from there, all we're going to do, overlay this. And as we're wrapping it, you don't want to wrap it too tightly, but you do want to, that's going to be annoying. You don't want to wrap it too tightly. And as you can see, I've left a little bit of space on this end because that allows it to actually create a little circle as we're wrapping it. Because if it's too tight, the painting's going to crack. And we need these actually laid out properly as well. That's fine. I'm not too worried about the actual edges of the painting. So all of a sudden, we've started wrapping it and it's already too large for the tube. So it needs to be a little bit more tighter in how it's wrapped. So I'm actually going to take off most of this sheet of paper here. and I'm going to try wrapping it a little bit tighter, which, because it's a high quality canvas and it's high quality paint, I'm very happy doing that. If it was a really bad quality canvas, you really don't want to wrap them too tight at all, because, or like cheap quality paint, they will crack and it ends up looking really, really nasty. And you want it actually in a circle. You don't want it to ever be flattened at any point, because the moment it becomes more flat, it will create a fold in the painting itself, and that's the last thing that you want, because once it gets a fold in it, it's really hard to get out. And even if you take it to a framer or anything, they're gonna look at it and go, oof, that's a little bit tricky to handle. See, if you mess it up on the first time, it's absolutely fine. It's one of those things you just gotta try, fail. The more times you do it, the better. This is actually ending up as a beautiful. I've messed up here a little bit in the middle. I'm not that worried because it's a teeny tiny sliver. And then all we're going to do from here, make sure all of that is rolled. Done. So once we've done that, I usually put a little bit of masking tape on it, but I'm not going to do that for this one because I don't have any with me and I'm not that concerned about this. It's more for the decoration of if you're selling the painting, really, to make it look like it's actually being presented properly. So this is the size of the tube. As you can tell, it's not huge at all. And now I was a little bit worried that the tube was too small, but that does actually seem to fit rather nicely. Okay, I'm happy with that. And the last thing you want to do is ever force the painting into it. If it's not going, it's not going to go. Don't try and force it. If you have to, unroll the whole thing, rewrap it. But for me, it had a little bit of trouble getting in. That was purely because the paper wasn't taped down. There we go. Nice, simple, easy. That is now completely ready to be shipped. There are a lot of different people that will also put bubble wrap on the painting itself. I don't really see the point of doing that because I got a really high quality shipping tube. Like, this thing's not going anywhere. It's, you know, even if it gets a bit of water on it, this is going to be absolutely fine. You can basically stand on this and it's not going to crinkle or crack. So I'm really happy. Anyway, I hope at least some of you found that rather useful. Just one small extra side thing. This is how the actual stretcher of the canvas ended up being. There's a bunch of different pieces of wood. I unfortunately didn't label exactly which ones are which, but I've got a good photo and I can match each one to what. So these are all going to be wrapped up, sent in a separate box. Hopefully we can find one that will work with the length. If not, having it stretched in a different country is not the end of the world. But yeah, that's that.